Coach, just how excited are you about the upcoming season? I know South Terrebonne has been working really hard. You've seen them all summer, all off season. So how are you feeling going into the new season this year, Coach?
Feel really well. I really like the point we're at right now. We've had an extended fall camp due to the fact that, we didn't do a traditional spring. So, we started a week earlier going into this season, and I think the players have responded well. I think when we look at it, we know that we have put in work and we are putting in work, but we know for us to achieve what we want done, we have to continue to look forward and understand that we're always pressing for the standard, excellence and perfection. We're always pushing ourselves to be our best so that we could achieve the goals, whether the goals we talk about as a team or as an individual, that we have to be working on a nonstop basis with an intensity that's unrelenting for us to achieve whatever we're going to be able to achieve this season.
So what's going to be the biggest strength of this year's team, Coach, in your opinion?
I think there's a lot of strengths to this team. I think the first thing you got to look at seniors. Really like the way the seniors have responded as times come on kind of through fall camp. Like the way what I'm seeing certain ones stepping up, even sometimes maybe somebody that you're not expecting, whether that's senior, junior, or sophomore, freshman. Them rising to the occasion. I like what we've seen with that fall camp. We've answered some questions, not all of them, but some of them. The scrimmage and jamboree are really going to do the most part of that, but we've had some people step up. So I think when you talk about the strengths, I think you got to look at, first of all, you got to talk about all of our returning starters. Then you got to look at the defensive backfield, our secondary, which I think is a huge part right there. And you got to look at all of our 3-year starters. You list them out, whether it's Brody Dupree, Breeze Blanchard, Jaheim Diggs, Aaron Martin. And if I left anybody out, I'm sorry about that. But, we're leaning on those guys. We're leaning on those guys to be the leaders, use that. I've been calling them veteran in a lot of these interviews, a lot with all the experience they have. So leaning on those vets, those seniors to achieve what they want, to push this team towards, whatever greatness we're going to be able to achieve.
Right there. And what's an area that you really want to clean up? Maybe an area of weakness. I know every team has a strength and a weakness, but what's an area that you think you want to see this team improve on before week 1, Coach? Or maybe before district or later in the season?
I think it's our mentality. I think the mental part of the game is not spoken about enough. I think when you start talking about us having 18 out of 22 starters, I think it's a mentality and how we approach everything. Everybody wants to talk about winning, but winning isn't done overnight and winning's not done in one day. So I think it's our mentality of how do we address practice every day? How are we lifting in the season? How are we addressing film sessions and install meetings? I think the mentality part of it, I think, will also increase our intensity at practice, and that increased intensity will also be shown on Friday night. So if we continue to sharpen ourselves, then I think the sky's the limit for what we can achieve this season.
And offensively, I know you called out a couple of key players, but offensively, who are you counting on offensively this year?
I think the first thing you got to talk about offensively is we've got to go to the offensive line where you got 4 out of 5 starters back. I think you got to look at Bray One-Store at the center. Senior for us, 2-year starter. You got to look at Kenneth Boudreaux at the left tackle. Those 2 guys right there leading that group in order to establish everything we do, whether it's passing game or run game. So I think you got to call them out offensively, that part. And then I think you got to go to the backfield for us. You got to go, with Breeze Blanchard going in his 3rd year starting and Brody Dupree as a 3-year starter at the running back position, and them showing leadership, between the 4 seniors I just called out right there on the offense. I think there's the guys that have to lead us. They have to hold each other accountable, and we're going to go as far as they go.
And you mentioned defense might be the strength that before the offense can come together, the defense you're really counting on, right?
Yeah, I think a part of it when you talk about me saying the secondary right there as a strength of the team is, I think out of those starters, I think they all started last year, in some way, shape, or form. So I think that's what gives you a continuity that really makes you feel good about it. And the big thing about them is that I really like the competition they do within it. Splitting hairs here because I think our linebacking core is outstanding. I think our secondary is outstanding. I think right there, offensive backfield with those 2 3-year starters right there, outstanding. And the point for them, and I think I've been trying to drive home, is I see their potential, I see their abilities, I see the work they put in, but me and the coaching staff's the only one. So now is a time for us to kick the door down and show it to the whole area and how hard they've been working, for some of them going into their 4th year here, and my 4th year also, because these are the first freshmen that I had. So, super excited about it with the upcoming season right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. And one more time, what's those defensive key players, just 2 or 3?
I think you go defensive key players. I think when you look at it, you look at the secondary, Trinaj Smith is a junior 3-year starter because he started as a freshman for us. I think you look right there. I think you go to linebacking level, it's Jaheim Diggs right there, fast middle backer type that can run sideline to sideline. And then go up front, I think TJ Lewis has had a great fall camp. Really liked what he's shown in the last week and his increase and his technical play up front. So I think you look right there, and there's so many others. I think Aiden Jones, another linebacker, has had a great camp. Warren Walker, good camp. 3-year starter himself also. I love these interviews because I like highlighting kids, but I think sometimes I feel bad because I want to shout out everybody that's having it. And in this, we've had a great camp, and it's continuing to push it and not peaking early. We want to make sure that we sustain this until they tell us we can't play no more.
So just one more thing, like you say, I know the fans are excited. If you could tell the fans anything about, coming out to support this team. I know you had a good turnout today, but you want to see that stands packed, and I know they're very loyal, supportive down here for South Terrebonne football. But if you wanted to say anything to the fans, what would you tell them about, coming out and support these kids and continue the Gator tradition that y'all have here? Okay.
I think it's really important, community support, and one of the reasons that I was so interested in this job when it became open was because of the community support that's here in South Terrebonne. They come out. I don't think it's having to convince them to come out. I think it's more the fact that it's just reminding them, hey, we're on the road week 1, but we're home next week with a scrimmage against Thibodeau on August 21st. So let's pack it like it's a regular home game, and let's see how loud we can make it, so that we make it seem like a Friday night for us, and that we're kicking this off correct. And I'm looking forward to seeing all those Gator fans very soon.
It would be special to see, especially for the senior class, to get to the playoffs, Coach, just to get that that chance to play at the highest stage. So do you feel like is there for the taking, if they take care of business on the field this year?
I think it's there for, like you said right there, to play off of the words you use. I think it's there for the taking, but they have to understand if they don't go take it, somebody else will. And I think that's the biggest part here. We have to turn the corner. We have to kick down the door, pick whatever cliche you want to use, I think. But they have to determine that that's what their goal is going to be. And that's what's going to happen, because they're going to refuse to be denied. And we've been talking about that a lot through this camp, and the fact that everybody set their personal goals. And what is that? Okay, you might have set stat goals or whatever it is, but you need to set a goal as a team, for what you want this team to achieve. And I think it has to become the mindset of this is what it's going to be. So I think it's there for us to take, and we've worked for it, and now it just has to happen.
Well, best of luck, Coach. When South Terrebonne is winning, everybody here is so excited about football, so I can't wait to see what you guys do this year, and I want to see y'all get there, okay?
Absolutely. Looking forward to the season. Thank you, sir.